Happy Monday. Okay, like I said, we're gonna do a full tutorial sew along thing. I've been prepping all morning, so some bits I've already sewn. I've taught this a few times now, so we're not gonna move as quick as I sew it, but we're not gonna move as slow as I would teach it in a class. So, here, I have to set you all in my camera holder. Hi, Janie. And someone else is watching too. Sorry. Hi, whoever else is watching. Okay, so I have, like I said, a bunch of samples, but what I've brought for my wallet to cut for you is some tulip ink. So I'm going to start with my flap and my body. Oh, and while I'm doing that, I'm actually just going to disappear for 2 seconds. Hi, Ella! And turn on my heat press. Okay, here we go. So there's 2 different ways to do this. I prep all of my interfacing first. So when I cut them, maybe here, sorry, when I cut interfacing, I cut a whole bunch at once. I don't just do one. So interfacing. It's by the Bolt. This is my non-woven fusible. I don't really worry about brand. I'm not gonna lie. This is what the craft store in the next town carries. I buy it by the Bolt. They give me a great deal on it. It's less thick than the Decor Bond or the Craft Fuse, the Pelon 808 or 809. So I cut all of my body flaps out of this. And my body and my flap. Sorry, I don't know where my flap template went. Here's my flap template. So I cut a junk load of these. I double it up. I cut like 4 or 5 at a time. Same with my flaps. So what I end up with is a pile like this. So I almost always have my body and my flap cut out in fusible interfacing. And then the other thing that I do, now I used to buy SF101, the fusible interfacing. Then for a while I was using a Presto brand. I liked that it was, what's SF101, 21 inches. And the Presto brand was 23 and a half, 24. It was just enough that when I cut it in 8-inch strips, I could take that 7.5-inch strip off the top, so I had my pocket and my card slots done in all one strip. Now, it's not that wide anymore. So what I do is I buy Blue Cala Interfacing. She's a Canadian company, I'm Canadian. And I buy it in great big chunks. Oh, here it is. And it's a great quality, I really love it. Then what I do is I unroll it and I cut it in lengths of 24 inches so that once I've got a 24-inch strip, I cut it in 8-inch strips and then I chop 7.5 off the end. Ish, makes sense? So then what I get with that is this. This is my total 24 inches of Blue Cala interfacing, 8 inches wide. And what I've done is I've cut a 7.5-inch chunk off. Yeah, cool. So that's all ready to go. Now, what I was saying before I got distracted was that there's 2 ways you can do this. You can have all your interfacing cut out all your flaps, cut out all your bodies. Or you can fuse your interfacing to the fabric and cut it out one last time, which is generally what I do, which is why I've got the heat press going. I'm going to show you both ways though. I'm going to show you a cutout flap and and I'm going to show you a fused body. So plastic templates are your friend if you make lots of these. Find someone that will do acrylic templates for you. It is a game changer, I promise you. Oh, there's my first beep from my heat press. Okay, rotary blade, clear template. And I have my center marked. I've actually measured it with my ruler, and I know that one side of it is my center line. Makes it really easy for lining up and fussy cutting. Okay, I'm gonna move my camera down a titch. There y'all are. Okay, so there's that center line again. And what do I want? A bit of the owl, a bit of the body. So what I like to do, because I use the 45mm blade, is cut my 4 square pieces, or my 3, sorry. 1, 2, 3. See how I've cut that? And then I'm going to take a pen, and I'm actually just going to draw this curved line. My blade will cut it, but it doesn't like doing it with the ruler. So I've got my line, and I'm going to cut it. Y'all can freehand cut this. You can do it. I promise you. You can do it. It's not that hard. Just cut it. It's okay. You'll be fine. Okay, so now I'm gonna flap. Okay, and look, I have interfacing to match it. Ta-da! Okay, so I'm gonna line that up, and then here's my body with my interfacing. And I'm just going to leave this alone until we wander over to the heat press. Because what I'm going to do, oh, it's done its second beep now. What I'm going to do is actually just fuse this on and then cut it out one time. Yeah? You have no sound. I hope you're the only one having no sound, Janie. Maybe turn your volume up? I'm not sure, love bug. Somebody can hear me. Terrell can hear me. She knows. She's in Canada too. Okay, I hope you get it fixed, Janie. Sorry, I'm not a pro. All right, fixing this. Okay, so I'm going to do these gorgeous Tula Pink hexagons as my card slots. Now, I don't use fat quarters very often, sometimes, but what I really like to do for this piece is flip my rule over. Make sure I'm square to selvage. And I'm not. So I'm going to trim this edge. Okay, so I have with the fabric right here. Right, can you see that? Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut an 8-inch strip. 8-inch strip, make sure there's nothing underneath it, and my cutting board gets cluttered. Okay, 8-inch strip, right? Okay, then this is my folded end right here, and all I'm going to do is turn my ruler and line it up to 4 1/4. Okay. Yay, Terrell! Yay, Asa! Yay, Patricia. Okay, so 4 1/4 means that when we open it up at that fold, it's going to be 8 1/2. It's automatically wide enough for our card slot backing. Okay, so if you can see my little backwards chop here. Okay, so now I have 2 pieces that are with the fabric less 4 1/4, and I've got this 4 1/4 piece that I open it up and it's now 8 1/2 backing. It's amazing. Okay, the other thing that I need from that is something to do my zipper tabs and however I want to attach my wristlet. I'll show you guys 2 different ways of doing it. But, so I've cut already my 8-inch strip. Now I'm cutting a 2-inch strip. Okay. And I'm going to open it up because I only need 1 set. And what I'm going to cut next is 2 inches by 2.5. I've got a little V here. Hope y'all can see that. I've got a little V there, so I'm gonna cut it square, flip it around and cut it the other way. Okay, so I end up with one piece that is 2 by 2.5. Goes with my card slots over here. And then the other thing that I need is 1 inch by 9. I use the 1 inch by 9 to do my anchor for my wristlet. Doesn't matter whether you're gonna cut it off and put 2 different wristlets in, like this style, or if you're gonna do an anchor across. Okay, we're still gonna need this 1 inch strip. So, 1 by 9, 2 by 2.5, my 8 inch strip that's been chopped. Okay, and then I do one more contrasting color for my zipper pocket. I'm gonna do a single zipper pocket today. And the next time I do a video, what I'll do is I will show you my easy peasy method for putting in 2 zippers, 1 on each side. It's easy. Okay, what do I need? Zipper pockets, 8 inches. I tried, depending on whether or not my fabric is directional, this will change. But if my 8 inch strip is along with the fabric again, I can cut my pocket and my pocket lining at the same time, which makes my life easy. So, sorry, I hope my arm's not in the way too often. I'm trying to not cut this awkwardly, and I am gonna have trims down, but okay, so zipper pocket, and then 4 by 8 twice. 4 by 8 twice makes a zipper pocket. Ta-da! Zipper pocket. Okay, so now we have flap, body, card slots, zipper slots. Oh, and just right here is some interfacing. Now, do you have to go for a walk with me? I think you guys, hi! Y'all get to go for a walk with me. Okay, so we're just gonna come on over here and turn the camera around. Nope. Sorry, this is my heat press. You probably can't see it that well, but it works like hot darn. So what I do is I put my fabric right sides down. I put my lining on top of that with the sticky side to it. Okay, I'll pick you up and show you all, okay? So my interfacing's a bit wrinkled, it's okay. Right? Okay. Oop. I do it this way so that if my interfacing isn't lined up, which it often isn't, I'm not actually getting any sticky onto my Teflon surface. It's very exciting. Are you all excited? Woo! Woo! 10 seconds! Oh, it's beeping. Okay, so, ta-da, fused. This was such a game changer for me. Okay, so we've fused the card slots. Nope, we fused the zipper pocket. We need to fuse the card slots. So here we go, card slots. Okay. Now, pardon me, I'm setting you down again. Clearly I need like one of those fancy, what do they use, like a neck thing so that they can live stream and show stuff. There's gotta be some kind of tool. I bought a fancy tool, but it didn't quite do what I needed it to do. What make is my steam press? It is a Singer steam press. Oh look, I should have like the instructions right here somewhere. No. I don't know what size it is. It's 10 inches wide. 10 inches wide. I think it's about 17 inches long. It does use steam. I never use my steam. I'm not sure why. Doesn't need it, I guess. Works like a hot darn. All fused. When I did this by hand, it would be literally an entire day of me fusing, interfacing, because I like to do my wallets in sets. And it's really painful when you have to like hold it in one spot for, I forget how long it timed me. Like it took me like a minute and a half to do every single card slot or something. And now it takes me 20 seconds literally. Time is money. Okay, so all of those are done. We're gonna fuse the body next. So this is the one that I didn't actually fuse yet so that I could fuse it later. So all I'm doing is lining my interfacing up on my fabric. Now, I'm only super fussy on the flap. I'm not super fussy on the body. So if the body isn't perfectly lined up on a print, sorry guys, I don't care. Shh. Usually I'm listening to music or listening to podcasts while I do this. Sometimes movies. It's definitely much quieter when I'm in here talking to myself like a loony bin. I mean, I'm not really by myself. You all are with me, but a little bit like a loony bin. All right. Done. Everything's fused, our main body. And I'm just bending down here to unplug my heat press and plug in my iron. Okay. Let's go for a walk. Ready? We're gonna come, you guys are gonna get so motion sickness. I really need to figure out this videoing thing. I promise, I will. Okay, what do we have? Oh, card slots. Okay. Body, done. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is prep this body piece. So again, acrylic template. I talked about this in my video yesterday. I love it because it has holes here to mark. If you don't have it and you're using a paper pattern, what I would recommend doing is literally like drawing on it so much that your mark comes through. The line doesn't show up in your finished product. It can be permanent ink, it's okay. Mine, I alternate between a white pencil crayon and a Staedtler black pen. I don't know, one for light, one for dark. So I mark all of my points. Okay, and then very carefully, making sure that I'm pulling it down evenly, yank my whole pattern down a titch. I think I'm actually going to use black here. It might show up better. And I'm going to mark that bit on the pattern that I talked about yesterday, those little lines. Okay, where did I folded my pattern up? Oh, it's right here. Okay, so just a quick refresher, if you didn't see my video yesterday, what I'm drawing is the mark that's here on this pattern. So we're really good about marking these ones. Will the owl be right side up? No, the owl will be upside down because it's on the inside. So when they open it up, the owl will be right side. I put all cork on my exteriors because I found it wears like leather. It's water resistant, antimicrobial, and it just doesn't get as dirty. So I put all of my fabrics on the inside. I do cork on the outside. So lines, we mark these ones, we need to start marking this one, okay? So here's my mark here. Put it all back together, line it up. This time I've shifted my ruler to the top. Samantha, I bought the templates back when Emmeline sold them, but I know they don't anymore. Oh, does anyone else know who's selling them? Maybe, Tops and Bobbins did. Okay, so just to double check, I'm going to take a ruler and I want my lines to be square to the top of my oval, and they need to be 8 inches apart, and the top line needs to line up with the bottom. And I do like a 1/2 inch at least. It's probably more than that. It's not. It's 5/8. My line is 5/8. And don't freak out because it doesn't show up when you're done. That's exactly where your folds are going to go. So I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side, make sure it's 8 inches apart, and make sure that my lines are there and really clearly drawn. Now, before we set this aside, we've got one more thing we're going to do. We're going to fold it in half. When I teach classes, this is what scares everyone the most. I'm going to fold it in half. Half of this distance is 4.5 inches. It's a 9-inch piece. So at 4.5, which is where my ruler is, I'm going to take my pinking blade and I'm going to cut a 2-inch slit. I just cut it. Pinking, it doesn't fray so bad. It stays together really nicely. And awesome, Lacey. Thank you so much. Lacey's posted a link for Tops and Bobbins that do, in fact, still carry the Emmeline templates. So I have a little hole in my wallet now. It's 4 inches wide. It's centered. I'm going to set that aside. Okay, so the other piece of folding that we're going to do, and I'm only going to do it once, so pay attention. Okay, I'm just joking. I'll do it twice if you really need me to. Card slots and a ruler that's more than 8 inches wide, okay? The first thing that I line up to is 2 3/4. I take my fabric, see my rulers, I'm holding this in place, I'm not letting anything go. I'm gonna fold this back and I'm going to pull my ruler out, okay? Now the next measurement, 175, okay? And fold back, okay? I'm finger pressing it in place each time and pulling my ruler out, okay? Now, when I come back to the top, I can do a quick check. My fold is at 2 1/4, but the very top is at 3 3/4. So as long as everything's lined up, I know I'm bang on, right? Okay, so 2 1/4, fold it back. Okay. 1 3/4. Nope, that's not right. See, look at 1 3/4 is right. But this is supposed to be a 1/2 inch right here. So I can tell right away I've boogered up. Okay, come back to here. 2 and 1. 2 1/4. Let's try that again. There we go. 2 1/4. Finger press. 1 3/4. Finger press. 2 and 1. Press. 1 3/4. Press. Okay, so now I have this sweet little finger pressed card slots. I take it over to my iron, I press it, but instead I'm gonna be magical and be like, ta-da, it's all pressed. Okay, got it? So 2 card slots, My first measurement, I start with 2 3/4. It's different than the pattern. I do that so that if I'm wonky anywhere, I can cut it off later. Yep, okay. So, what else do we need to do? We need to prep our zipper tabs and our, see, I'm totally focused, I swear. Okay, so our little 2 1/2 and our 1 9. If you, well, we're gonna fold it the same way anyways. Let's see what happens if I do this. Oh, look it. Okay, so here we are. 2 1/2. Quick press with my iron. Fold it in half and iron it. And then 2 bits to the center. Sorry y'all, I hope you can see that well enough. Okay, so I've taken and folded it in half. I'll open it and I'll fold it back into the half twice more and then press that. And then once I've done that, I'm going to press it in half one more time so all of my raw edges are folded, except for the ends, and set it aside. Okay, then this 1 by 9, this is the one where you sometimes burn your fingers, so don't. What I'm doing, I hope you can see this, is literally folding my 2 edges into the center, and then I'm going to press it into one long thing. So here we go. Steam all the time over here. Just don't steam on my steam press. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is fold it in half to find the center. Now, if you're going to do 2 separate tabs on the sides, you can cut this in half. If you're going to do it as an anchor strap on the flap, leave it whole. Anchor strap, you're going to fold your edges back into the center. Okay. But if you're going to do tabs, take your scissors out, fold it in half, and cut it in half. Okay? So now we're going to go over to, hi guys, over to the sewing machine. This is my sewing machine. Okay, so we're going to prep our zipper. Here's our little zipper tab. And my zipper was over on the floor. So the first thing I'm going to do, I use a zipper that's generic and cheap and longer than necessary. I'm going to open it up, and then I'm just going to sew back and forth on that to secure my end. And then I'm going to cut it off about 1/4 inch from the end. You can see my zipper stitching there. Here's that 2 1/2 inch piece. I'm going to fold it in half and cut it in half. Okay. I'm going to increase my stitch length. It's at about a 3 right now for my top stitching. And I'm going to top stitch that zipper in place. Yeah? Cool. Now, if I move some of my junk out of the way, y'all will be able to see this. I then cut my zipper down to 6 1/2 inches. So 6 1/2 inches. And I just cut it off. make sure your zipper tab is like, you know, closed and at the end and you haven't cut it off, because I've done that. It's not a good idea. All right, next, I'm going to top stitch the other side of my zipper on, which oh, here it is, momentarily lost. Okay, so I've just taken that little zipper tab, put my zipper inside of it, folded it up, and stitched it. Okay, so we have a prepared zipper, right? Now, let's take the zipper and make a zippered pocket. It's really exciting, guys. I know. I use Wonder Clips. I need 4 for a zipper. So here's my pocket exterior that I've fused. Here's my pocket interior. So when I'm doing this, I always talk to myself. Lining, right side up. Zipper, right side up. Closed, the zipper pull goes to my right side. Have a routine. It's easier and you're less likely to booger things up. Okay. Here's your 8 inches. Now, I don't ever switch to my zipper foot. I quite literally, oh, I'm turning my stitch length down again. I use my walking foot for everything. I sew a scant 1/4 inch. I sew most of the way across the zipper. And then I stop. And I take that zip, oh, I lift my pressure foot up. And I take that zipper pull and I wrestle it to the back of the machine. So now my zipper pull is here, my zipper's open. And I'm going to finish stitching and cut. Okay, so what that gave us is this. Now, I usually don't press it with the iron until the end. I usually just give it a quick finger press. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side, okay? Lining side up, zipper face up. Now your zipper this time is automatically going to be on the other side. It's really handy like that. We're going to clip it into place. If you clip your zipper into place and then you add your exterior, there's less chance of your zipper going wavy later. I don't use double-sided tape or anything fancy like that. Okay, same thing. Clip it. Once you have it clipped, my zipper pull is still over here, right? I don't want it to be there. So I'm going to open my zipper, fold it back up, and sew that 1/4 inch again. Lift my presser foot while my needle's down. Did I mention that last time? Make sure your needle's down. Sorry, guys. Move my zipper out of the way and sew my zipper into place. Okay. So the next thing you're going to do, of course, is press that with an iron and press everything out of the way. Now this, okay, once it's all pressed out of the way, yeah. Ta-da! Look, it's pressed. Let's top stitch it. Okay, increase to 3 again. I start with my zipper closed and at the back of my machine. The first thing I have to do is open my zipper. There's a reason for this. Okay, so I'm top stitching about 1/8 of an inch. I get close to my zipper. I close my zipper. I sew right off the end and I just turn it around and sew that the other way. Open my zipper. Okay. So now I have a top stitched. Depending on where you like your label, this is when I put my label on. So my labels, when a zipper is closed, the zipper goes to the left-hand side. So I fold it with my zipper closed and I put my label right here. So where's a label? Oh, right here. Look at that. One label. Okay, and I just position it below my zipper. And my stitch length is still about a 3. Oh, make sure your pocket's out of the way here, hey? Okay. Done, right? Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna open the zipper. Leave it open. Don't touch it now, I swear. Open it. Make sure it's open. I'm going to tell you this one more time. Open your zipper. I can show you how to rescue it if you need to, but it's easier if you just open your zipper. So, I'm going to plug my phone in because it's about to have a hairy fit. You know, as phones are wont to do when you don't give them any power and you video for an extended period of time. I hope this doesn't wonk our stuff up too much. Oh, it definitely wonks it a bit. Y'all are going sideways. Sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, you can't even, I'm so sorry. It's not working. I'm having troubles. Trouble, let me free. What happens if I turn it sideways? No, I can't turn it. Okay, sorry. Oh, how about a Kleenex box? Y'all want to hang out a Kleenex box, don't you? No? Okay, look. I think we did it. Okay. Sorry, I'm so sorry. So, zipper open. And I'm going to take those 4 Wonder Clips and I'm going to match my 2 bottom edges first. Okay. And then I'm going to fold where I've top stitched with my zipper. I'm going to fold that. Ooh. And put a clip there. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Fold it and put a clip. Okay. Then I'm going to take this handy dandy writing utensil that's beside me and a ruler. Okay. And I'm going to line up on my top stitching line and I'm going to mark 1 inch down from the zipper in either direction. 1, 2, on both sides of my pocket. 1, 2. Okay, got that? Stitch length is about 2.2. I sew big here. This is supposed to be a 1/4 inch and I sew at least 3/8, if not closer to a 1/2 inch. For the inside of my pocket only. So a big seam allowance here. Let's say 3/8. Back stitching. I'm going to sew up to that line that I marked and back stitch off and cut my thread. Okay. Now I'm going to sew the body of the pocket. I'm going to use my regular 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay. And back stitch to secure it. I stitch to a 1/4 inch from the edge and then I turn it. I stitch across. I turn it. I stitch down until the line, which is coming up. And then I back stitch and cut my thread. Then I have to do the other side of the inside of the pocket. So big seam allowance again, 3/8. Start stitching, back stitch, and all the way off. Cut your thread. Okay? So you can see I've sewn here and I've sewn here, but this spot right in the middle is not sewn at all. I can jam my fingers in there still. Okay, so take your scissors and cut your corners tidy. Jam your hand in there and turn this puppy inside out. Okay. So you'll notice that once I've got this, sorry, so I can see what I'm showing you a little better. Once you've got it, I've got these funny little tab things sticking out, right? So I'm going to finger press it as best I can, and then I'm going to shift slightly while I walk over there. This is a Clover Hera marker. It's a boning tool. I use it to turn out my corners. My son used to use it to stab things, which is why the tip is broken, but it still works well enough for me. And that's me making y'all sick again. Sorry. It's not charging and I don't know why, so. We may have an uninterrupted recess, but I've given this a quick press, and so what I'm going to do next is top stitch along the bottom, and check this out, guys. See that little flappy edge thing? Yeah, I'm going to use my finger to kind of get all the fabric out as far as I can. I'm going to take my scissors and chop it off so it's square. Yeah? Same thing on the other side. So this is really going to eliminate a whole lot of bulk when we go to put our sandwich together. Okay. And one more step was top stitching the bottom. So that's our zipper pocket. It's done. You can set it aside. Was that the hardest part? You're done it. Woo! Okay. So the next thing we're going to deal with is those card slots that we were doing earlier. So, card slots, right? Same thing, about a 3-inch stitch length. And I do this in 2s always, but I only brought over one, so I'm going to stand up and bring over the other one. Okay, so here's my other one. I'm going to leave this one on, and I'm just going to start stitching my next one. Okay, once I'm at the end, I just come back and cut the first one off. Start again. So, fold it back one more pocket. Stitch. Okay, y'all get it? I'll finish sewing this. So, once you've top stitched all 3, I fold it back up again and I just run a quick seam along each side to hold the shape of my purse or my card slots in place. Okay? So, we're going for a walk again. I'm not sure why this doesn't want to charge, but it just doesn't. Okay. Hi. What do I? Hi. Okay. Hang on. So I've got these stitched card slots, right? And a light for you. Okay. So I use an Olfa at an inch or at a quarter ruler. It's 1 1/4 inches, so that when I flip it around, I've got a 1/2 inch mark and I line it to my top card slot. Okay. And then I've got this little overhang. That was a little extra bit that if we were wobbly, this is going to account for that. So I'm going to cut, oh gosh, how do I explain this? A 1/2 inch goes along the top of the card slots and then 3/4 inch. So I'm going to cut exactly 3/4 inch above the top card slot line. Okay. That's just a little bit. Yeah, ties everything up. And then I'm going to turn it around the other way because I'm right-handed. And my next measurement is 4 1/2. 4 1/2, right? 4 1/2. Cut. Okay, so repeat that for both of your card slots. Which of course I haven't done. I prepped some of my stuff, I swear. Okay, so I line my 1/2 inch, 3/4 above the top card slot line. And then 4 1/2 inches. Okay, so take these two pieces, make sure your card slot's open at the top. Sew this line at a 1/4 inch. Okay, press it open, and then come back to your table because, and I'm not actually going to do this step, I'm cheating. I'm cheating. This piece of fabric is 8 inches wide. So you're going to make sure that 4 inches lined up with your center line is square. And then if you take that sweet little Hera marker that we were talking about, you can just draw a line. And it shows up on your fabric without actually marking it. I think you can see that in the shadows. Okay, so go back and top stitch that line to divide your two. Okay, and then once you've done that, take your fabric backing, which is actually not this piece. Sorry. Okay, and so it'll look like this. You'll have card slots on the back and a fabric piece on the front. And you're just going to sew a 1/4 inch on each of those. So you end up with this. Sewn on both sides, 1/4 inch. You can see I've top stitched down the middle. And you're going to turn this baby inside out. Give it a quick press. And top stitch these two edges. Okay, my phone is pretty much dead, so I'm really sorry. I have to pause this, and I'll be right